everybody. Welcome back to the Real People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm your girl, Tyra Nicole.
And I am Nicole Pay. And today we have one phenomenal woman. So excited to have you. So, Executive Director of Detroit Fashion Community, real estate agent, and co-owner of Lauren Marie Cosmetics, Lauren Woodson. Welcome to our podcast. So happy. Yay.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. Girl, you are doing everything. Like, so much going on. So much going on. So we're going to start the podcast off as our normal. We're going to cheers to a great podcast. Cheers. Oh, yeah. We do this thing around our head. Just,
what does this mean?
It's long story. We'll explain that later. But
Yummy.
I know, right? All right. So welcome. So we don't talk about real estate. We talk about everything else. And you have a ton of stuff going on in your life.
Let's start off with young Lauren.
Ooh,
so were you
Lauren.
always into like fashion and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, yes. I was always into fashion. I think my earliest memories were my mom would buy me shoes, and then I would buy crystals and then put them all over my heels.
Oh,
and people
nice.
used to laugh and think it was so weird that all of my shoes were covered in crystals, and then Christian Louboutin came out and people start buying them for like $4,000. I remember I drew a logo. It was like a 7. That was my favorite number. It was the number of completion, perfection. And then an LW for Lauren Woodson, and I would put that as the heel of the shoe.
Oh.
And it looks exactly like the YSL logo.
Oh,
shoes
yeah.
now. So basically, I knew I was on the right track,
Right.
back a long time ago. But your family's always like, go to school, do this,
Right.
do that, don't do anything artistic. So
You could have made a lot of money.
I know. Hindsight, right?
Yeah.
I've always been into fashion. For
So
sure.
when did that start? Like, at what age would you say?
I think I was drawing before I could write. So I would I have an evolution of my renderings of women, and you could tell from the beginning what they used to look like all the way to I think I stopped drawing in college.
Do you still have those drawings? Do you ever look back on them?
Oh God, yeah,
That's awesome.
it's crazy. I had magazines, shoes, and then shirts, and you pick which one you want, and I put the girl together at the end and draw a picture.
So this was destined. This was where you were supposed to be.
I used to sell paintings for a quarter. I used to know Van Gogh. I used to think it was easy, so I would just splatter or just stick my hand on it, and my neighbors would be like, "Yeah, we love it, we'll buy it."
Wow.
They were just being supportive, but that's what kids need. It made me feel
Absolutely.
so confident. I'm gonna keep going.
That's
So what would
cool.
you say is your fashion style? Are you more edgy?
Honestly, I don't know if I'm bipolar when it comes to fashion style. I could be that business girl one day with the suit, that clean look, or I do I probably need to get back in the gym, but I like the human body.
Yeah.
So I like a lot of sheer, tight, and I think it's fashionable as long as it's tasteful.
I'm gonna say though that Fox 2 interview, that outfit was fire. It was. So she had. I don't even know how would you the skirt was how would you describe that skirt?
Something I would have never worn.
It was fire.
If Marv Neal hadn't put it on me.
Yeah. So she had the skirt on, and it had would you call it fringe? Would it be a fringe skirt? And it was a
is
pink
a fringe
color,
skirt.
pinkish purple.
Purple, yeah.
And then she had
Green
this blouse, green top out. You guys got to check this out. Go to her page, check out that outfit. That was
I'll put that picture
absolute
up there.
fire. We will make sure, that picture gets up there because that was amazing. So you were on there as a model?
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing?
Mm-hmm.
That outfit was fire.
Yeah, Marv, that's the thing about fashion and why I like to take risks and not have a specific fashion style. If I had went in the store and saw that stuff, I would have never put those two things together or imagined what it would look like on me. But when he does it, it's oh, this is cool, So there's definitely an art to it, but I like to try a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
Do you feel like throughout your life, because I know with me, I feel like I went through different stages of fashion. Yeah, I'll go one part of my life I was dressing like this, and then next part like this, and then I'll think
I don't even want to go
I
back
would
to
never dress like that again.
just to go 15 years ago.
It's so funny. I was just cleaning out my storage unit, and I say my whole 20s was just a party. I'm like, I'm gonna give all this stuff away. I started looking through it like, ooh, what type of
Like I wore
what type of
that.
young lady is gonna want to wear this? It's like sequins, no back to the dresses, no front to the dresses. They're really gorgeous dresses, but I mean, it's got to be a specific type of person trying to live their best life, maybe
Right.
Vegas strip and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely don't wear the same stuff I wore back during that time.
Yeah.
I find it challenging, you know, being like a businesswoman and also like really loving fashion. Sometimes I feel like I have to be modest with what I wear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you go outside those limits? How do you like reach those limits of us being all business women, but still being able to express yourself in what you wear and, you know,
Yeah.
how you present yourself?
I just push it to the limit. Like we hosted a DFC Connects event. It's our Detroit Fashion Community Networking event that we do every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. Sorry. And I had this gorgeous, like it was supposed to be a suit dress, and it was blue. But then it stopped like so high. I was comfortable with it, but I had to put pants on underneath because I knew. I'm like, I don't think they're gonna get it.
People,
Right.
Yeah.
However, I'm not gonna put any shirt underneath, and it was kind of deeper plunging. I did see a little bit of, you know, cleavage, and I was like, I'm comfortable with that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess having a balance of a little bit of sexy and but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
too much.
Balance
How do
is
you
everything.
feel about that like no pant look?
I like it.
That's really cute underneath the suit jacket.
Yeah, it was just a long jacket and no pants.
That's why I like when
we
you
might
go
have to grab that
places.
picture too, because
Like
I want to
when
see that.
No, I'm
That's-
talking about like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the, I think Kendall Jenner was doing it. It was like tights.
Oh, where
Wait.
it looks like you're not wearing anything.
Right.
I don't like that.
You didn't
Oh.
like that?
And
the
Okay.
butt
It's
looks
like
like
a
a
thought
butt.
you were just-
No, I thought you were just talking about like that long suit coat look, like you know what I mean,
No.
like in
Oh
that.
yeah, I know what you're talking
They're
about.
wearing
that's-
black
that-
tights,
Okay.
but they were dark enough to where like, you know, you couldn't like see anything.
Oh, I don't know I don't know how I'd rock that.
And then they would wear like just like a jacket over, you know, and like a tank top.
I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I'm
Some
not
stuff.
sure. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable. Well,
So
of
just
course
some, like,
you get
black
it.
tights,
You love it.
but they're,
we have,
like,
we have
super tight or
commentary from the
Well, it's
back
like literally
gallery.
tights. Like you would wear under a dress,
Oh, like stockings.
like stockings.
Okay.
Which is
I'm
a
old
jacket
school
over it?
stockings.
Yeah, it was like
Oh,
no
yeah.
pants over it. Like
Okay.
Got
well,
it. Yeah, no.
That's a hard pass
think
for
I need
me.
to see
I don't
it.
like
Yeah,
that.
because I'd have to see that because that might be a hard pass for me.
it was on TikTok.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
We'll have to look at that. So moving into your fashion, so you got into Detroit fashion community. How did you start that journey with becoming the executive director of that?
So, Detroit Fashion Community has been around for 5 years. I joined last year.
Okay.
And the founder came to me and she's like, listen, I want to revamp this. I want to bring new energy here. What do you think about just taking over? And I'm like, whoa.
Right. No
gosh.
pressure,
Wow.
though. No pressure.
You know, it was sheer excitement, all the different ideas and things, and I'm like, you're just like giving me just free reign to do whatever I want to do. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, no brainer, yeah.
So how did you become a part of it to begin with?
I think like we all like fashion community people kind of hang out in the same spaces, and you find out, wait, there's a Detroit fashion community, so it's like probably word of mouth type of thing happened. Then just join online.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
That's cool.
And so you are a real estate agent, which
Yeah.
we don't talk about real estate, but you are a real estate agent. So that journey, just to say, how long have you been in that industry?
A few years.
A few years. Okay. So we won't talk anything about that because we have so much more to talk about. And then you are the co-owner of Lauren Marie Cosmetics. How did that get started?
That's huge.
That's huge.
Thank you. We're actually in the process of revamping right now.
Okay.
At the time that we started it, I was just so like obsessed with makeup, but I wasn't doing a lot of research on what goes into makeup. And I think we're on this new natural path of health and wellness and looking good. And I think as I get older, like I don't want to be like the most glam person, but I want my natural glow to be, you know, popping. So
Absolutely.
what can I do like to make your natural self
Yeah.
better?
So
Like,
it's almost like you're going to the all natural
yes.
aspect of
Yeah.
it. That's amazing.
That's
And I think we need
Yeah.
that more for
and,
sure.
And how it started was my mom, she's like, you got all these great ideas, start a business. What would you do for free to, you know, what do you do that you do for free that you love to get paid for? I'm like, makeup. And then, boom, we just
started.
Yeah.
So what kind of products do you have?
So it's like super high pigment, long wear lipsticks, lip glosses. We have like makeup remover, like just little cute little cosmetics things, and what else? Cream lipsticks, mostly lip products.
Mostly lip products.
Okay. So now we're working on like lip scrubs that you can like lick and eat. So like margarita flavor daiquiris and all kind of stuff.
Oh, those
like
are going to
that.
be hot sellers.
Like that.
Body scrubs and body butters that like smell like perfumes, all kind of cool stuff like that. So more body, I guess.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
What's the process of making like a lipstick?
But I would have to ask my manufacturer all of that because I'm not the handmade mix it in the kitchen type of deal.
So
is it like vegan?
What is it?
Isn't it like vegan?
There are vegan options, but mine
not.
weren't.
Okay.
That's why I'm like my focus is so different now these days than it was before.
What made you like? What made that focus shift?
My personal self. Yeah. The more you learn, you're like, well, if I wouldn't buy this for myself, why would I?
Want to sell it to other people?
Yeah,
absolutely. So in this whole transition of where you started, fashion's always been a thing. You've grown from fashion. Growing up, where was it like high school wise, or when you started? Like, what was that immediate transition that you knew was going to be? This is my calling. I want to be in the fashion world. I'm going to take this and I'm going to run. Like, was there a defining moment in your life that you knew that was going to be your legacy?
Well, I modeled since 13. When I got to CAST, I was able to get 2 curriculums. So I majored in theater and fashion. Mm-hmm. So I knew once I had fashion at CAST Tech that this was totally like a thing. Yeah. So then after that, I went to Northwood University for 1 year for marketing and management with the concentration in fashion. Hated it. Then I went to IADT for 1 year for fashion design and hated it. I love the process. I like the cutting, the sewing, the finishing, so I can tell like when people have designs and they're like showing it to me and I'm looking at the edges and I'm looking at, and I'm like, I'm really like, I don't know. I wouldn't call myself like I don't want to, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't want to be like, I feel like I'm an editor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
But not just
you have the vision, but you don't actually do it.
Overall, I can, and I sometimes have to get hands on to show people this is what I'm talking about. Right. But almost like The Devil Wears Prada, right? Mm-hmm.
Favorite movie.
But not
I love that movie.
Not that terrible, but how she's like she just knows. Yeah. And you know what it's not, and. I just like to make everything better when it comes to that type of stuff. I don't know.
Right. I totally get that. Because it's even like when I did like this little video I put together for an event I was having, and I wanted to be like so hands-on, or I had like this whole vision in my head of the way that I wanted it. So I was able to like go in and edit the whole thing. So I feel like that's kind of like you have it all in your head of the way that you want it. Yeah. And if it comes different, you're like, no. Yeah. This is not how it's supposed to be.
I do a lot of content creation too. It's a whole thing.
And we didn't add that to the bio. We're going to add that.
Phenomenal woman. And so now,
that's why I said phenomenal woman. I said that from the beginning.
But doing that, when I have people come do things for me, like for my events, and I know how the event went, then I'll see the after video, and it doesn't capture anything like the essence at all. Like, you didn't get this part, you didn't, like, what, like, where were you? Were we in the same place?
Were we in the same place?
So it makes me like, oh, I should do it next time, but you can't do everything. So I am learning to trust people, but it is, oh gosh.
I'm so terrible with that. Like, I feel like I do like everything a lot, and that's one of my weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Like, just let them do it. Just trust them. But it's like when they do it,
it's funny though, because it's almost when that happens though, you get this persona, or people look at you like you're controlling, but I don't think it's a controlling thing. I think it's
want it
like you
right.
said, you have that vision, you know what you want, but then you're labeled as this controlling
Or a
person.
micromanager.
Or you're, and it's
I do
not,
that
I'm not
a lot.
micromanaging. I kind of know
You
what
know
I'm
what you
looking
want.
for. And it's like you said, were we at the same place? Like, did you see what I saw? Because that's not what came through.
Right.
So it's funny how that stereotype can be labeled that way, even though that's not at all what we're trying to do.
I'm starting to develop this reputation. Wow, I didn't. But you know what? I don't get offended anymore.
Your character,
because
procedure, reputation. Always remember that.
what you might call like hard to work with, or and this is the definition when people say, "Oh, I think she's hard to work with." Is no, I just expect you to do everything you said you were going to do, and I'm going to hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
So if that's hard to work with, then maybe we shouldn't work together. I think when it comes to micromanaging, I'm like, I'll take it. Fine. Fine. But it's because, like, you know how you can see something happening a mile away, they don't see it, and you know it's going to mess up, and you just rather be a micromanager than watch
Get in
them
front of it.
do this and waste a bunch of time trying to fix
Right.
something that's just kind of what I would rather do. Fine.
No, it's funny because you do. I think as women, we get those labels a little bit more than. Why are you laughing?
Well,
over
when
there?
men have been doing it forever.
When men, right? Like again, our producing section is laughing, but you do get labeled it because. So I'm going to use my 10-year-old daughter for example. Like I have a 10-year-old daughter, and sometimes people say, "Well, she's bossy, but yet." If it was a different situation, you'd be assertive. So at what point do you look at it where it's a different label of, no, she's just being assertive in what she wants, or is she being bossy?
Yeah.
Because you get those labels as, I think, as women. Like, we come across as controlling or bossy or whatever. But really, like, we're just, like you said, seeing the vision and getting ahead of it before it even...
We just want things done right.
Exactly. See, let's just say that. We just want it done right. You came into the good time.
I just saw this Instagram post and it just hit me so hard. It was a lady saying how guys are like, oh, we don't want women that are too strong. We don't want women like this and that and so aggressive. And they're like, yeah, but you loved it when you were nothing. And that's what got you to your next level. And that's what, you know, I don't talk about that. But now it's, we don't want
it's a
that.
problem.
You know, like you do want it. You just don't like how it feels.
Right. When the situation is right. I wish our cameras could be turned right now at literally
like
the producing section of our podcast and seeing what's happening. Like, I think this would
it's
be
like tasting nasty herbs and stuff, but you need it. It tastes nasty, but it's gonna help you out.
It's good for the soul. It's good for the body.
Right.
So go ahead.
We're all going
I know. We're like, so who's going next? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask, how does like Michigan fashion compare to like New York fashion? And do you like aspire to be
That's
over
a good
there,
one.
or do you like it here?
It's day and night.
Yeah.
I mean, even California though, is it like
all day and night?
it's all
Michigan is like a baby. It's like a baby, and there's so much potential. I'd rather be here for sure.
Okay.
I don't know what's gonna happen in my lifetime, but I know that we can make a difference. You know, every little.
So do you
step
have
of the
any
way.
desire to go into like the New York world or the California world, or do you really want to bring it home with Michigan?
I really want Michigan to have a fashion industry. Detroit in particular. I want a fashion district in Detroit downtown, a fashion house, like a huge mansion that people go to. Like, I think we could totally have it with the talent. The problem is everybody in Detroit is all like segregated and separated. You got people over here, you got pockets over here. And that's why I liked Detroit fashion community, so we can come together, people's egos, you know, all these different things.
I was just going to ask you, why do you think that is? Is the same feeling in New York when you go to New York or even to the West Coast? Or is it...
No, I don't feel that.
It's here.
Like, what do you think the dynamic is to cause that in Detroit?
I'm sure you've heard this. But everybody in Detroit is a celebrity.
Yeah, it's everything,
So you got egos.
Yeah.
You know, I just went to this one fashion show and it was gorgeous. And then these guys, I guess they were somebody, you know. They walked right across the runway. Like
Stop it.
The models were like, oh, shoot, trying not to. And I'm like, wow. I mean, what a great show. And these guys don't care. They're just walking across because of who they are. Runway. And the models are bumping into each other, and then they go stand and block the light. That is the main light that we need for the show to keep going. Right. Yeah. I'm just a guest, but I'm just like this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, these guys are just so hot that whatever they got going on doesn't even matter.
It's way more important. That's kind of
how it is.
Yeah, it's like that self mentality. Like, they only care about themselves, and it's just like people don't want to come together. Yeah, it's enough out there for
everyone can eat. We can eat from the big table. There's enough.
Come together and do something. Yeah, also, so I get that.
One of the things I see is people don't like to collaborate because they want to feel like they came up with things on their own. What you don't get is you can go fast by yourself, but you can go far with a team. Right. So it's okay to just spread it out. All y'all take credit versus, no, I did this by myself. Like, you just only get so far with that, and that's a lot here.
That's the problem. Yeah.
So how do you handle those situations, especially if you're seeing it more in Detroit? Like, how coming up in the fashion always being in your life, how do you handle that?
Well, so individually, I don't. Like, I'm a different person individually, but because I'm representing Detroit fashion community, I rethink the way I handle things. I'll have a meeting with you. I'll talk about it. I'll be humble at whatever, but if it's me.
And then behind closed doors, you're like,
But if it was just me and it only affected me, I don't care. Like, I don't have to work with you. You don't have to work with me. My life is still going on. But because this affects other people that want to be involved, hi, what can I do to kiss your butt to make you feel good to work with us, Yeah. So I'm working on it. People are just... Yeah, special.
Yeah, I get it.
And I just never was been good at.
We're gonna quote that. That's gonna be that. People are just special.
Do you feel like you could be that person, like, to make that change here, where we can make it better, make like a Detroit fashion?
Not alone. I have a really strong team. Yeah. It's funny because after we, I don't know if you saw the website Detroit Fashion Community. I just had this vision of the photo shoot. We took the picture, and at the end, it turned out looking like Detroit Avengers of fashion or something, or Detroit Justice League of fashion. Everybody looked like a superhero, and that's kind of how I feel. Like, everybody is a powerhouse. Everybody individually. We had to, move some people around, because I do feel like you're only as strong as your weakest link. But just so that we can have, like, the right people in place. So I think with the right team, we could. Maybe I'll be the person to kick the, whatever, to start it, but not by myself, for sure.
Right, for sure. No. Well, that's cool, because you need a good team. So as long as you got that team and you feel that it's possible, then, hey, you never know.
All right, let's steer away from fashion a little bit. Let's talk about, like, your childhood, growing up. I don't even know, do you have kids?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, three boys.
Oh, wow.
You're a boy mom. What are their ages?
13, 8, and 3.
There's no way you have a 13-year-old.
Yeah, with my my only boyfriend. Isn't that funny? I'm like super sheltered.
Yeah.
People don't think so. Yeah. First boy I ever fall in love with. 13 years.
That's cool.
So you said 13, 8, and 3.
Yeah.
So how do you do the work-life balance? Like, because, I have 4. Tyra has 2. You have nieces and nephews, but you still have nieces and nephews and your best friend. Like, so you have children in your life. Like, how do you do the work-life balance?
One thing that's really good about my situation, after their dad and I split, I always knew, like, he wants these boys no matter what, you know? So we already had it planned out 50-50. Half the week they're with you, half the week they're with me. So today, it's no kid Wednesdays for me. I already dropped them off. So it's like I get the time to do the things that I want to do. They have a lot of sports and things, so I'm doing a lot of work. Most of my work is on the computer. So I'm at the game, not the game, but like practices, doing things. I just try to fit, it's like a big puzzle, try to fit everything in. And I think it's a plus because they're boys. It's weird. It's like they
that's a double-edged sword though. Because
probably rather be with their dad.
But still though, they're so active and like we have 2 and 2, so we have, and you have 2
nothing
girls,
about boys.
so you know nothing. But we're 2 and 2, and I feel like the boy, like, oh my gosh, my boys are just as active and
Oh,
What's
crazy.
the
They're
difference? Would you say since you have both?
Wow.
Because a lot of people
are we
say,
still
like,
live?
boys
Are we live?
easier. I don't know.
I don't think there's a really boys are easier. They're just in different levels because so my boys are very, very, like, I get the saying like he's just a boy. He's being a boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like my 1-year-old is jumping off couches where my girls don't jump off couches, but my 1-year-old's like, hey, this looks like a great idea. Let me just jump off the side of a couch. And then my 17-year-old's my other boy, and with sports, like, we're nonstop. But then my girls are just as busy, but it's with different stuff. So I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's personality. Like, would you say? I mean, you're a boy mom, so personality. I mean, the attitude for the girls are. You have 2 girls. You know how those attitudes go.
For sure with
Like,
the girls.
whew.
My 13-year-old boy's attitude is.
But every child is different.
That's
And I
so
think
true.
We all know that. So
Yeah.
I have 2 totally different kids. One never have an attitude. One always have an attitude.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I don't know if you can say like boys or girls have attitudes, but I mean, yeah, my and then my 10 and 6-year-old are both girls, and they just go back and forth, and I'm like, make it.
Oh yeah, the fighting is
Yeah.
terrible.
Make it.
Yeah, that's how me and my sister were.
So okay, so you have sister. Like how many siblings do you have?
Okay, this is funny because this was not to get too deep, a source of trauma in my life. So I have 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get to the point where I can say that I have a biological sister who's my dad and my mom's child. Then my dad has a child in between us with his now woman.
Okay.
So she's our stepsister, but we were raised all our life to think she was our biological sister, which was super crazy because I don't know, in my little childhood head, I'm like, you're not my sister. You're not my sister, you know. And she's like, I am your sister. And all she wanted was love from her sisters, you know.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you don't realize she's just an innocent person. But I'm like, I hate you. You're with my dad, and you're not even his, his kid. I knew she wasn't, We just found out finally, like about a year ago or something. Like we finally got some tests done, and like she really is not.
So you had a feeling the whole time?
He told me, but I thought as a kid, like, he's just telling me that so that I'm not upset, But
Okay, wait. Let me start over. Okay, wait, stop. Because this is what we talk about on the RPR cop.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your sister is not biologically your dad's,
right.
and then you have a brother.
Yeah, who is my dad and his wife.
But you always thought she was?
I knew
you
she
knew-
wasn't.
so you
she
knew-
thought she was.
Oh.
And like he lived in Alaska. And so he would come back and she'd be like, me and my dad. And I'm like, it's not your dad. She's not your dad. He's our dad. But you have him. I used to like just hate her. Like, you're not even his kid, And she's like, yes, I am.
Aww.
And so finally we figured it out.
So what is the age difference between you two?
1 year between us.
There's 1 year between us.
Yeah.
And what's your relationship like now?
Better, much better. I think we could get a lot out once we got the DNA. I don't know why it mattered so much to me, but like we were older. We went to breakfast. She pulled out a photo. I pulled out a photo. And she's like, wait, how do you have that? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, my parents lied to me. So whatever she saw in the photo, she's like, I wasn't supposed to be around until this time, and this photo shows my mom holding. I'm like, so she took a DNA test. Long story short. She's not related to us.
And then,
at
so
all.
is your brother younger?
Yeah.
And then what's the age difference between you and your brother?
Like 9 years, I think.
So it's 1 year between you and your sister, and then 9 years between you and your brother.
And then 1 year 2 years between me and my actual biological sister. So she's in between. So the stepsister's in between us.
Got it.
Which was like terrible to me.
So
like,
all the time growing up, she did really think that.
Yeah.
So
had
and
a
then
whole
she
crisis.
found out that day when you guys sat down, or she had found out already.
She took a DNA test after. She's like, whoa, I just realized they're lying to me. And
That's
so
like Parent Trap.
it's so bad,
Right?
Yeah. But she took a DNA test, and then a year later found out, wow, I have another.
So what happened after that? Like, how was that whole situation? Like,
That was crazy because
I
she
couldn't
went
even
on.
imagine.
She took a DNA test, right? A year later, she sent a picture to my phone, and when I saw the picture of the man, I knew exactly who he was. Like it's like her face and a man.
Oh.
And I was like, I called her, I was like, are you okay? She's like, you know who that is? I'm like, I know who that is. He's a great man. Oh
Like,
my
you don't
God.
gotta tell me.
Yeah,
I know
he
exactly.
adopted me and my sister, my biological sister. He's a great guy. I hate that she didn't have him for 30 years, but like, she's in a better, definitely a much better situation now. So
I mean, you'll be surprised how many people like go through situations like that. So I can only imagine.
It was traumatic for me. It just made
I'm
me
sure.
like, hate the girl, and I'm like, when I'm older, I feel so bad. I'm sorry. And she's like, I just wanted sisters. And I'm like, now I want to be a sister because I'm like, I'm not.
I mean, but you have that
person.
time to do, to do all that now.
Yeah.
So your relationship is very different now. And then, how does your brother fit in all this? Like, is he just?
It's like he has his own life. He's in Alaska too, so we never get to see him.
Have you been to Alaska?
I never would
I was
go.
gonna
My
say,
dad would
how's
invite
that?
me all the time. I never wanted to go see him. So my sister went. She said it's beautiful.
Oh.
I think I want to cruise up there and see some whales.
Wait, is Alaska the place that is like light 24 hour? Like, what is?
Yeah, something about
Is that the
that with
place? Is that
Alaska.
the Alaska that's like 24
Yeah.
hours of daylight? Like they don't ever have a nighttime? Is that
Well,
Alaska?
at some point
Is
it's
it?
like dark all the time. So like,
Oh, is it
it's-
the opposite?
I think it's like for 6 months.
Okay, because I'm like, I think that's in the proposal, wasn't that? In the
Yeah, she
proposal?
goes to Alaska.
Yeah, she went to Alaska, and like they had to, like these special blinds that had to come down because it never got dark.
Oh, yeah.
So it's opposite. So it's like 6 months at a time. Like it's
I knew
super
it was
light.
something like that, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so that's a whole geography lesson for everyone who needs to know.
never been.
So
Never
I-
been. Do you have any desire to go? Do you think at this point
on
now?
a cruise. Like I just want to see some.
You just
whales.
wanna see some
really do wanna
whales.
see the whales.
Yeah.
I love whales. They're fun.
One day.
One day you'll go.
Definitely. So do you feel like, because you said something earlier that makes me think you're a spiritual person a little bit?
Absolutely.
So when did you start being, as you got older or always?
I'm actually on a journey right now. I was raised in church my whole life. Every single day the door is open, we had to be there. Singles ministry, 2 services on Sunday, Tuesday Bible study, Thursday, and I was kind of scarred. So when I turned 18, I was like, yes, I don't have to go to church ever again. But it did save me because it did give me a foundation that I had so much
Animosity.
not animosity. What's it called when you say there's something bad and you can tell it's bad? It gave me a what is it?
Clarity?
Not clarity,
No.
but something like clarity. But it'll come to me.
Okay.
A conviction, like you just knowing something. Like all these bad things are introduced to you, but you have
Gut
this.
feeling? Like a gut feeling?
Intuition?
No, it's gonna come to me.
Yeah. So
But basically,
it'll come to you.
it's this foundation that has been able to keep me out of a lot of things.
Okay.
Like I've been in some crazy situations.
Intuition.
I've not
Intuition? No.
It's gonna come to me.
It's funny though because I can relate to that because I was the
Right.
same way. So I grew up. I went to a private school in church 6 out of the 7 days a week. Saturdays was like our day off, quote unquote. But then we went to the 4 o'clock mass, and then a lot of revelations came through with my family that I would took a step back and I'm like, y'all living in some glass houses and throwing stones. Like I ain't about this life. So it was.
No.
No. So yeah, so it was like a revelation for me to the same thing. At one point I'm like, I am not like you guys are all just full of it. I'm not going back.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got older
Yeah.
that I started to realize it was more about a relationship and not a religion for me.
Yeah,
And then it
same
got
here.
crazy because I started doing my own research. I haven't celebrated Christmas in like 10 years. I haven't done a lot of stuff. Easter, a lot of stuff just based on my personal. It's like when you.
Yeah, we don't either.
Hey, I'm right. I
Yeah,
completely.
we don't either.
Yeah, we're
It's
in
like
like
when you're-
alignment.
We go to Florida every Christmas because that's what we do.
I feel bad for the kids. So you guys are together because I have two. They have 2 families. They still go over there. They gave us an Easter basket, so it's hard to like. It makes me look like the
bad guy.
Yeah, like they got us Christmas trees, and it's like, but it's like you're held accountable once you know what things are, and I
That's
can't
true.
just
That is so very
do
true.
that. So
Yeah,
on a journey.
and I have like a did you guys know? So I have like this did you guys know thing. So that's like one of the shoot, I'm like you now. I can't think of what I was about to say. Laws of the universe.
Okay.
Is when you're in combat. It's when you know something and you go against that. It's like you're combating with self and you're breaking one of the laws of the universe.
Wow.
So
That's deep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is deep.
Super deep.
So that's my did you guys
I would
know.
say that's the did you guys know for today because we haven't talked about
So
that,
you
but it's
said- Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I would say, but it's true though. Like it's
Yeah.
that's actually a great point.
You said you've been through a lot of shit. Let's talk about it.
I'm trying to
I
think
like
of what's
to- I like
appropriate.
We
to
talk
bring up
about the real shit.
Trying to think like what's appropriate. I want to write
There-
a book.
share one. Share one
I
story,
think in your
guess.
email you said there was nothing off the table. So
God.
Drink some tequila.
I know. Just I mean,
I'm just trying to like, you know how there's like so many different types of trauma. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I have like all of them. I'm trying to think like which one would be the most.
What was the most
interesting.
okay? So what was not even interesting? What was the most impactful for you? Like finding out about your family, but what can you look back on? Because I think each one of us can probably say there was that moment of impact, that a trauma. We all been through trauma at some point. What was that most impactful trauma for you?
I don't know if there's been an impactful trauma. I guess, I mean, the most traumatic thing I've been through is my relationship with my ex. I'll say that. Which has forced me to like look inward. I just took this test. It was really cool. I don't even know if you know what this is. Do you know your attachment style?
Yes.
No,
You do?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
It's so
I think
cool.
do you know?
What,
I mean,
might
I
know,
it
like,
as another
It makes
Yeah,
things
like-
make sense of why
I need
stuff
it to make
keeps
sense.
messing up. You know?
Okay, so let's
So-
talk,
Yeah,
like
we
what
talk
is
about
what is
that.
your attachment style?
Oh,
What is
God.
that test?
Okay.
Do we need to pull this up?
No.
Who's got a phone?
Mine is called the anxious.
Okay.
Anxious. What's the one like a busybody word for busybody? Anxious
I don't know
something.
that-
I'm gonna
But
have
it was
to look
terrible.
into this.
And it's really cool because like if you could just put that in a document and send
they
it
all
to a
got their
guy before
phones
you
out.
date.
They're like, what is,
You know,
everyone in the
attachment style.
production
Yeah.
part.
So-
Okay, so it's like a test you take. Is that what it
Yes.
is?
It's so accurate at one point. And I was saying, once you get your results, if you could like print it off and send it to whatever guy is interested in you and say, get back
my
to
husband?
me. Yeah, or y'all, yeah, and you
Or
can
my
help you
husband,
work
like,
on it.
this is why.
Say, get back to me if you can handle this. If this is something that you can deal with, get back
It's too
to
late.
me.
It's
I
too
would
late.
do it.
You can't not.
That's
I would do it.
There's a five.
Okay,
there's
but
a
being
5-minute
anxious
quiz.
It's a
it
5-minute
starts when you're a
quiz.
child.
Bro.
I'm glad you're going there. It's okay. So here's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went to my ex made me force me. I went to counseling. Dealing
Okay.
with him. I think that he has narcissistic personality disorder. That's just me. I diagnosed him. But what happens is that can do a lot to you
Yeah,
as
for
a
sure.
woman, as a person. You end up questioning yourself at the end.
Yeah,
it was to
for
the
sure.
point where like I would go outside and people would be like, "Oh my God, you are so fine. You are beautiful," and I'd be like, "Me? For real?" And it's like you forget, like
Yeah.
dealing with a person that make you forget that you are that person.
Beautiful.
So, long story short, so once I went to counseling, they told me, they were like, "You have I forgot the word. It was something crazy. Like you have severe abandonment issues."
Okay.
Where did that
Okay.
start at? And then everybody goes to blaming their daddy.
Right.
But I promise you, my whole life was so fulfilling with the family that I had around. I never felt like my daddy's gone, besides the fact that the girl would come back and I'd be like, "Girl, that's my dad," you know. I never felt like missing. I never felt like I missed out. I just never felt that. So I'm like, is it my dad? Because my dad left at 5. They divorced. Is that why I feel abandonment issues? But I'm like, it can't, because I don't feel emptiness. I literally feel nothing towards my dad.
Like
So-
after the podcast session,
So
I have so many questions and thoughts. I can't
So
contain
what
myself.
happened
Part
was
2.
they were like, "Well, think back to the first person that you ever lost." And I was like, "Whoa, this is deep." It was so clarifying. So my grandmother was my best friend.
Okay.
We watched Cops every day together. We slept in the bed with our dog. She was my best friend. My mom wants to give me a whooping. She's like, "Do not touch her." Like, I was like her favorite person. One day, well, she got colon cancer. So we would see her in hospice, like them opening up her stomach. And I would just be like, what the heck is happening? I was 5. So then one day they were like, go downstairs in the basement and don't come back upstairs. And I came upstairs and I saw them putting her body in this black bag. And I was just like,
At
weird.
5, you said?
At 5
And that's
or
a
7,
memory,
5.
like a vivid memory.
And
that
never
you have.
seeing her again after that. And then after that, I never wanted to be close to anybody ever again because of how it feels to have to go through them not being there.
Right.
Definitely.
My mom was getting teary-eyed. So after that happening, that in that counseling session being the first time of me really like thinking of like, dang, that's the very first time that I stopped wanting to be close, like with friends. I don't want to hug you. I don't like my mom to this day. She's like, give me a hug. I'm like, you know, I don't like hugging. I don't really like touching. It just makes me feel like, because one day you're going to be gone and I'm going to have to deal with it. So knowing that goes along with the anxious, I forgot the other word, attachment style.
Okay.
It's like you like this person so much, but because you're afraid that you're gonna mess it up, you end up self-sabotaging. Like even when they try to get close to you, you figure out ways to start problems and arguments because subconsciously you know it's not gonna work anyway. At some point this is gonna be over. It's not gonna last. So even though you don't say it, all of your actions, it could be a great day and you just come out like, I just feel like you haven't been like loving me enough. And they're like, what do you, like literally, I literally just had to end a situation like last week and then once I learned about my attachment style after, I was like, oh my God, I did that. I call him. I'm like, I just feel like you're not talking to me. Like, he's like, what else do you want from me? Like, Lord, I'm doing everything I can. And I'm like, well, it's not enough. It's like, then I thought about like, oh my God, it was so enough.
It was enough.
It was totally fine. And I did that to myself again.
It goes with what I told you guys.
Right.
95% of the decisions we make are based on our
subconscious. And I think we said that in the podcast, like
Yeah.
how many podcasts ago did you say that?
Yeah, like
it
3
was
or something.
right. And she said that, and we were all like, "Oh, is that
So
crazy?"
you're making those
Okay.
decisions based on what happened
Something
to you.
that never happened.
Yeah.
Like,
And before you even had that revelation, you know, with your grandmother, did you ever think back to that? Like, did you ever? Did it never come full circle? Like,
no, not till that counseling. Because I used to be like, counseling is stupid. And then I'm like, she just asked me a couple questions.
You're
and
like,
then
oh,
we got
shit.
back to
Here we
I'm
go.
like, dang, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't like to.
I think we all need to take this attachment quiz and come
Yeah,
back.
I've already been thinking.
I
in my
know,
head
like
when
we
I
need to
leave
come
here,
back
I
and
wanna
we're
do
all
that.
going to talk about this in another podcast. Like we're going to have you back and talk about this because this is like a real thing. And
real.
I think it's, you know, especially in relationships, really, they're not easy.
No.
And trying to divulge into a human. And, you know, today I just had a moment today with my husband and I was like, I just need a minute. Like, don't talk to me.
Wait, can I ask you, what's
Like,
your astrological sign?
oh, that's a good one.
Take a guess.
Are you Cancer?
No,
Leo?
Capricorn.
Oh.
You're a
I'm a
Capricorn?
Capricorn.
Oh,
I'm a Capricorn.
So that's
That's
probably-
crazy.
that's probably why you guys
Yeah.
have, like your
When's your birthday?
Fashion.
January 14th.
Oh, mine's 16.
Sweet.
Of
I
January?
do
Oh, 2
want
days
to add
apart?
too, with the guy's attachment style, you can tell right away if it's gonna work out because if he's like a fearful avoidance,
Yeah.
and you're one of those people that are anxious that needs constant,
need that.
you know that he's gonna constantly be like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't deal. It's
Give
not
the
that I don't
edge.
love
So,
you, but I'm just.
so do you have everyone take that? Like, excuse me, can you just take this?
I just started,
Can you
so
just
yeah, I
take
will.
this quiz
I'll
real
send you a
quick?
link.
It's just 5
I
minutes.
will.
But
I
you
will.
don't know. You really don't know. It's
Like, send me the
literally-
results.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
My first dates are usually my last dates because I really get all the way involved. Like, I would totally make.
So
them
do you
take it.
know which style you're compatible with?
Secure.
Yes, for sure.
the secure type of guy.
Okay.
No, it stems. Okay, so I learned this in psychology. Took a lot of psychology classes in college. It stems from when you were a baby, right? They did a an experiment or like a testing, and they took these babies and they put them. They would like have the mom like leave the room and see how the baby would react when the mom left the room, and if they started crying, it was like they were very anxious, right? If the baby was okay with mom leaving the room, then they were secure. So you can kind of learn their attachment styles, but
Wow.
it really stems from when you are a baby. Like your
Probably in
first
the womb.
year or two is like so crucial to you or to a child.
We need to have our kids do that attachment.
Yeah.
survey.
Mine did. Two of my older boys.
I'm
I was
serious.
so shocked that they were secure. I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I let them answer the question.
Yeah, like sometimes I think it, and then other time, like we've talked about it, we have the most needy children. Like mom, dad. I'm like, mom. I'm like, your dad's right.
Yeah, I think all kids are like that. For
Is that
some
what it
reason.
is? Because I'm going through it right now.
Yeah, no, it's always the mom. It's always us.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So we're about to wrap this up, and we just want to, if there was anything that you would closing tell your younger self,
Oh God.
what would that be?
Listen to your mother. Every single thing she said to do.
Oh, where's
do
my
it.
kids?
That's the first time.
Do it. No, seriously.
No, that's the first time.
Oh
You're
my
right. That's the
God.
first time anyone is. So listen to your mother.
Yes. Yes. Do
What
exactly what.
specifically?
So the, like
many
exactly
things.
what's
God, I don't even want to, like, so many things she
Everything.
said to do. And I was like, I'm going to do it this way, or I'll do it. Mom, he's a great guy. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
And one other thing,
okay.
what's something that no one knows about?
Ooh, that's a good one
What's
too.
yeah.
Oh, that's funny that we talked about this earlier, but I love old ladies. Like, I love old ladies. Like, if I see somebody out and she's an older lady, I will sit there and probably spend the rest of the night just
Oh, I
talking to
love
her.
that.
too.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
You can have some great conversations
So
with
good.
some
Lot of
older,
wisdom.
like
I've
lot of
always
wisdom.
connected with older people.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I have.
Well,
So,
you know
I
what?
get that.
Like, it's been a great conversation, and we thank you so
Yeah.
much for
for having me.
for.
You've been
And
a
I
great
think we're
guest.
all going to revisit this, and we'll have you back. We're all going to do.
And we're
the
all gonna take
attachment.
that test.
We're all going to
Yeah.
take the test, and then we're going to have you back, and we're all going to talk about it. You posted it in the group already? Okay. So if you're looking for that test, it's been posted, and we'll get it out here. But we're going to have you back, and we're going to talk about this attachment survey because I really would like to dive deep in that because I
Yeah,
think there's
for
more
sure.
that needs to be talked about with that, especially in the society we live in today.
Absolutely.
And everything that people are going through that's not talked about. I think that would be a great conversation to have. So, Lauren, thank you so much
Thank you all so
for
much
joining
for having
us.
me.
Cheers. Go
Cheers.
ahead.
Stay
One more.
tuned.
I don't have any.
You don't have any more?
I think I
Okay.
got like a.
I know.
A
we
little
need
sip
everyone
left?
else.
All right. Go ahead and close this up, Brooke.
All right, so stay tuned for the next RPR podcast. That's pretty much it.
We have Kurt next week. So,
Oh,
Kurt
Kurt.
Shewell.
We have
Yeah.
Kurt Shewell,
Oh, cool.
but we're a little far behind on the podcast.
On the
being
podcast
aired,
page? Okay.
So whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah.
All right.
So
All
that's
right.
it, guys.
All right.
It's a
Thank
wrap.
you. Peace.
Sweet, sweet.
Can I say, like, I feel